He's a native of Gretna, started high school at West Jefferson High School. In 2002, had 105 tackles, 35 for losses, only 20 sacks. As a senior, first team 5A All-State, 115 tackles, 9 sacks, played in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl, named first team All-American by USA Today and ESPN.com, rated him as their top defensive tackle prospect in the nation. At LSU, he played for 4 years, from 2005 to 2008. He was part of a national championship team in 2007. He spent time with 11, count them, 11 NFL teams, and he's played the past 3 seasons with the New Orleans Voodoo of the Arena Football League. LSU, of course, with a very difficult overtime loss to Alabama. We'll head to Arkansas this Saturday at 7 p.m. where it figures to be cold. Please give a warm welcome to Marlon Favorite. Marlon?
How y'all feel out there? God bless everybody in here. Pretty good weekend in Louisiana this weekend, right? Guess we'll talk a little LSU right now, but first I want to acknowledge some folks in the building. Definitely the man here to my right. I was listening to Mr. Ken talk about all the accomplishments at West Jeff. Man, Coach Hank Tierney did a wonderful job with me there, and I'm proud of him at what he's doing in Ponchatoula. So I want to acknowledge him and Ms. Joanne over there as well. So, just to tell you guys a little bit what's been going on with me, and I'll speak a little LSU, and if you guys have any other questions for me, please feel free. Talk a little voodoo, maybe have Brandon Risotto here from the New Orleans Voodoo as well. But lately, guys, I've been doing the Cox 4 games of the week, and man, I tell you, Louisiana is just loaded with talent. Week in and week out, checking these teams out, Pedestrian, of course, Ponchatoula, just to mention a few, the kid this week from John Eric, just all over. Me and my partner Scott has been going all over, and man, I really enjoy the talent here in Louisiana. Which brings up LSU. I think that LSU, personally, guys, just from the outside looking in, and years later, and a few months after, they have a lot of great talent there. But as we all know, they're pretty young. They're pretty young, but we've seen the growing pains with that team develop as the weeks progress. Obviously, if you look at games such as, can y'all hear me out there? Okay, I know I'm a little higher. Of course, with teams like Auburn, and for them the way they lost against just recently, of course, Alabama. We'll get to that in a second. But Auburn and then all the rest of the games that they struggled with throughout the season, I've seen this team really grow. So moving forward, I mean, I guess we can look forward to maybe some great bowl games coming up here. Close but no cigar this weekend. Y'all have to excuse my frustrations. I was very upset. I had to go to DC this weekend, so I wasn't even home to watch the game, and it was just terrible. But it's okay. But I wasn't all the way mad. I mean, it's a few points, I guess. And I'm probably get a few questions on my opinion on what I feel about a few of the things that happened in the game. But I am proud. I love their defense. They're a little young up front, so you kind of see them get out of their gaps here and there, get turned sideways. But I guess y'all overall, they did pretty good. But what I do see is a team that, I mean, guys, when I first came to LSU out of West Jefferson High School, Kyle Williams, Claude Roden, Marcus Spears. I mean, me and Glenn, we had an amazing opportunity to come in under some real good leadership up front and at every position. A partner with my fitness business, Skylar Green, receiving corps. So you have guys like Early Doucette and big guys like Herman Johnson, had Andrew Whitworth, and guys like Skylar Green to look up to. So these guys, LSU lost a lot, obviously, to the draft. Odell Beckham, I thought, had a wonderful game yesterday against the New York Giants. He did an amazing job, just to mention about him. And also, just this weekend, we could just reach right out to the Saints game. Eric Reed had a wonderful game against the 49ers. The Saints playing against the 49ers. So you see the talent in and out that recently left in the recent years. So guys like Leonard Fournette and Darryl Williams from John Eric, and these guys they're growing up as the year progressed. So knowing that, I really feel that they'll have an opportunity as the years to come to be more of a powerhouse in the SEC. this year, just like the SEC West. That's pretty much it. The SEC West is just highly competitive. So I see where they fall at with the SEC West. Talk about the New Orleans Voodoo. I won't spend much time. I know you guys may have some questions for me. But the New Orleans Voodoo, we just hired a new staff, obviously, Brandon Risotto, the general manager there. So I'm looking, and Coach Coquino, I'm looking forward to this season with the new faces and things of that nature. I think we'll have a fighting chance to compete. So I'm definitely looking forward to this season. So now I'll open the floor to you guys. If y'all have any questions, feel free.
One of the commentators Saturday night said that LSU has predominantly always been a running team, and that they feel like that possibly they need to get an offensive coordinator that is less than 50 years old, because they were talking about that they did not feel like that with the two quarterbacks that they had brought them along enough to be a threat as a passer. What are your comments on that?
Yes, well, LSU is definitely known to be a power run team, downhill to run team. My time there was a guy named Ali Broussard. Man, when he ran. Sharon Carey did a good job, and Justin Benson. In recent times, you have guys like Jeremy Hill. So LSU, then that was under Coach Jimbo Fisher. So it was a totally different offensive coordinator. You see how well Coach Jimbo was doing out there at Florida State. So I don't know if. Coach Cam's a great coach. I don't know if they should maybe look in the direction of another offensive coordinator. But moving forward, I look at everything as player personnel, just really breaking down guys. I've been this tall since my 12th grade year in high school. 6'1" was just where I tipped the iceberg at. So I'm obviously a guy you want to play in the interior line. I'm not a guy that fits on the outside. So it's those type of things. I feel like the guys are a little out of position. The play that gave me a headache, y'all, couldn't sleep for a while, was 15 yards to run for the first down right here, and you elect to throw it to a double-covered Malachi Dupree. So that just lets you know it's a team that, once again, like I mentioned earlier, that's growing. So I think once we get that personnel down pat, put guys in the best positions to make plays and fit their gaps and things of that nature, really go. I would definitely feed the beast, the three-headed monster there with Leonard Fournette, and Hilton. Four, really. Williams and then McGee, Franklinton High alum. They'll fit the offense right around them. And then, but I guess in recent years, LSU has been very successful with the receiving core. We talk about guys like Odell Beckham, Randall Rudy, and all these guys. So recruiting-wise, you get guys like Malachi Dupree from John Curtis coming in. They're circling around those guys. So hopefully moving forward, it'll all shape together.
Hey, I agree with you about LSU being a young team and they're growing, but does it still surprise you that Arkansas is a 2.5-point favorite this week? I mean, that still surprises me that they're a 2.5-point favorite.
That definitely surprised me. I guess.
I'm going to ask that question to Ed when he gets up there too. So be thinking about that.
I'm not answering.
I don't agree with that spread, but at the same time, Arkansas did have a pretty good game last week.
They haven't won a conference game yet.
They haven't won a conference game yet, so
in 2 years, in 2 years, they haven't won a conference game in 2 years.
It's a home game for Arkansas, so I would use that 2-point spread as a chip on my shoulders. So going into, because they're going to beat the brakes off of Arkansas, but it's going to be a fight because it's at their home. So.
I was going to say, I think that the defense and the running game, obviously, in the last 12, 15 years, has been the staple of LSU. But since Les Miles has been there, who has a great record, obviously he loves the running game, he loves the offensive line, and they're unbelievable. And I think the defense is coming along just fine. And I don't think that was a problem Saturday, to be honest with you. But why does LSU have such a tough time recruiting quarterback? I mean, don't count Mettenberg because he came in from Georgia, didn't leave him there, and so we had that 2 years of, a year and a half of good passing game. Why do they have such a hard time getting someone that can at least come in there and just manage the game and complete 60% of his passes, 65% of his passes, and run kind of like a Matt Flynn did every once in a while, and Matt Moss did every once in a while to get a first down? I'm baffled that they're so good every year that there's not some kids out there that want to come play quarterback in LSU.
That's a pretty good question, and I'm gonna try my hardest to answer.
Well, and I know there's no perfect answer, and I know there's a lot of people,
So,
that are great coaches and great guys, but it still just doesn't happen somehow.
well, traditionally speaking at LSU, just looking back 10 years, you mentioned guys like Matt Marlon, Jamarcus Russell, who had a wonderful cannon. But it just seemed to me that we always reached for that type of quarterback, that type of Jennings and quarterbacks that can be mobile on their feet. Now we did get Mettenberger a few years ago from Georgia, so
I almost don't count him because
you almost can.
He wasn't recruited out of high school. He was a
Correct.
great quarterback.
From Georgia.
I'm talking about pulling him out of high school.
Pulling them in. So I mean, maybe if the off like if everything changes and the recruiting turns that way, because Louisiana's first. So I know recruiting wise, they look forward to for that type of talent. But I guess you're talking about more of the traditional quarterbacks.
I don't know. I'm just talking about
Matthew
more one
Stafford
that can
type.
throw for 65%.
Okay.
Whatever that guy is, something like that.
Probably more along the fits. I think that they may not look for that fit at that position. Good question though.
Kind of add on to what Billy said, what was the Dak Prescott recruit? Did we not, and I don't know, did we not recruit him, or did we recruit him as possible for another position? I mean, the stories I've heard is he wanted to come here, and we either A, get recruited, or B, want to put him in tight end. What do you know about that?
As far as my knowledge,
They recruited him, but it was lukewarm.
Did LSU recruit
you can't
him?
really answer that one better than I can.
No, at quarterback, they recruited him, but it was lukewarm.
But it was after he had already committed to
Right, I
Mississippi
just
State.
said that.
They did not do
Mississippi State,
anything
and he
Mississippi
decided
State
he
either.
should keep his commitment.
So it's definitely a position that has always been a struggle for us over the years. So, I mean, getting number one recruiting guys like Leonard Fournette coming in, and I know this year they have Tyron Smith from Warren Eastern, probably leaning more towards the Texas Tech or Texas A&M, but just to continue to get the homegrown talent right here with good quarterbacks. Jesuit has a great quarterback. They have an amazing quarterback at Ponchatoula. Just these different, you have guys that can throw those cannons you're talking about, and at the same time run the ball, have the athleticism to get the first down on their feet, like a Russell Wilson or something of that nature.
I have a theory about your quarterback situation is they are predominantly a run team. Quarterback that's going to go there knows that they're going to give the ball to a running back 60% of the time. They know that they're not going to shine a lot, so you have trouble getting a quarterback.
Yeah, but if you're in a pro-style offense
Yeah.
and you run it in college and you want to make it to the pros, the guys who run around like crazy don't seem to make it well in the pros. So it depends on what you go and how you're doing it. So I would say you could get a good quarterback coming to LSU. He's going to be seen a lot. He's going to be in touch with the right people, and he can have success not only in college but in the pros.
To sum it all up, in terms of recruiting, it's going to be a job. Seems like harder than playing recruiting because it's just getting so competitive in the SEC. The playoff system changing now, so overall, moving forward for LSU recruiting, the future knows what will happen. But I think they'll do an amazing job at continuing moving forward because you just have to get better each year because you have to compete. Because the SEC is difficult, it's tough. So, well, guys, thank y'all so much for y'all time. Y'all be blessed.